So my lead for this story is definitely the students. And the reason why the students are the lead of my story about financial aid is because it is an informative piece about what students need to expect when they are on scholarships here at DBU. So the angle that I ended up taking, I mentioned it a little bit before, but the angle I did end up taking was an emphasis on the scholarship students and an emphasis on the financial aid office and how they navigate that as well. The information that I gained from my interview with the faculty that impacted the angle in the direction of your article, there was information because that impacted my article, and it was really when the director of financial aid basically told me that that not only is it on the financial aid's office responsibility to check the accounts, it's also on the students' responsibility to check their accounts frequently. So problems like this don't keep reoccurring. And that's really what changed the direction of my article, because instead of it being not like a persuasive piece, but like a piece about not like a persuasive piece of like one of those pieces you see on Us Weekly where it's Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber are getting a divorce, sources have claimed. It changed it to be more of an informative piece of, hey, you have these problems, well, here's how you can fix it. The students really impacted my article and changed the direction that I was originally going. The reason why the students changed the direction was because my emphasis was going to be on scholarships and why their scholarships were affected by living off of campus, and if students would rather live off of campus, and how DBU's controlling that and everything like that. But when I started hearing about the problems that they had facing financial aid, then it really changed my direction and trying to figure out those problems and how students can change those problems. The library sources that I found, well, honestly, I have to change them because they're not very useful to my article, but one of them was just basically about financial aid and the Equal Opportunity Act, and then another one was just about financial aid and what to expect, basically. I learned that writing a news article is actually very difficult than I expected, because I had to write articles for my internship, but I also had the use of AI for my internship, and so I would type up my article and then I would have ChatGPT reformat it, and just because, and I didn't really learn how to write an article, what to include and what to include in an article versus what not to include in an article. It also differs from different forms of writing, because you cannot have an opinion when you write an article, because then it turns into a persuasive piece. And even if you have the slightest form of an opinion, you can't have one. You can have an opinion, but it's I don't know, you can't have any bias. And if you have bias, then it's going to turn off your readers, I guess. The tips I would give students who would take this class in the future is really to take this class, because it teaches you a lot. And this class has very, very has really helped me really figure out if I wanted to be a journalist, because the Professor Sparks is amazing. Professor Sparks is probably one of the best writing professors I think I've ever had in high school and in college, because she's very, very helpful, but she also gives the world's greatest feedback. And I genuinely appreciate that from Professor Sparks, because she's helped me so much, and she has helped me figure out, hey, you're kind of being biased in this area, you know? And that's, granted, what I really, really wanted out of a professor was someone that could just shoot it to me straight. And Professor Sparks has done really well. Another tip is for those students who are not detail-oriented like I, reread the instructions. Because in life and in the future, you will, and in the real world, if you do not follow an instruction at work, you are going to get reprimanded, and you need to follow instructions because it really impacts your grade. And once your grade is impacted, it's hard to get it up. But Professor Sparks is amazing with that, and I genuinely really love her as a professor. And I mean, I could go on and on about why students need to take this class. Yeah.